Yo, what's up, everybody? Back with another day of showing you how I am going to build my day of food, my meals, so that I can hit my macronutrient goals. Now, today I'm in a little bit of trouble because I had to leave my house very early and somewhat unexpected. Not like an emergency, just I forgot I had to be somewhere. So that means I'm not going to be back at my house until about noon. So I have basically no food that I can eat prior to that if I want to stick to my goals. I could go get fast food, but I don't want to do that. So what I did before I left is I just grabbed a quick protein bar, and that's going to be literally the only thing that I'm eating basically before 12 o'clock. What that means is when stuff like this happens is now when I build my plan for how the rest of the day is going to go, I got to eat a lot. I got to figure out how to fit a lot of food, all my normal food for the rest of the day, plus the food I would have normally eaten in the morning. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge to put this together. I'm going to do that now, and then I'm going to show you how I did that. Do me a favor, as usual, if you find this video to be helpful, please hit the like button, maybe even the subscribe button while you're there. I do these videos every single day and show you how I'm building these plans. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on it. So let's take a look. I'm going to build it, and then I'm going to show you how I built it. All right, so we're going to tackle this. I'm going to show you how I built it. Of course, days like this, when it's chaos, when you have days that don't go as planned, sometimes you just got to do the best you can. Normally, on these days, as you know, if you've watched my other videos, I want to be just a little bit over on my total calorie count. As you can see here at the top, it says 0.8 calories remaining. So basically, I'm right on the dot as far as my target, and that's fine with me for today. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to accept that it's okay. It's not the days I prefer, but some days you just do the best you can. I'm just a little bit over on my protein, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that all looks good for me at the top. Let's take a look now at what I did to build this. Of course, I mentioned I ate the one protein bar, and I'm going to count that as my breakfast, which makes the rest of the day kind of interesting. So here's how I built it. Went for a big lunch because I had a bunch of calories I still got to fill. So I'm going to do some chicken burritos today. A couple of flour tortillas, about 5 total ounces of chicken, and I'll split that between the two. I'm going to do some rice, the Uncle Ben's rice, which you've seen quite often. Some of it will go on the burrito. Some of it will be on the side. I've got the low-fat mozzarella cheese, the guacamole, and the non-fat and plain Greek yogurt that I'm going to put on there because it reminds me of sour cream. So a nice, healthy, good-sized lunch, 964 total calories. Pretty basic. Now, here's what I did. Here for dinner, I went back to the old standard of breakfast for dinner. And, the great thing about this particular meal is when you need to fulfill a lot of calories at the end of the day, this is great. You don't realize how many calories are in your breakfast, but if you take a look, this is my standard size that I eat: 4 ounces of cereal, 2 cups of milk. That's 970 total calories just for that. That's almost the exact same thing as my entire lunch, which was 964. So, it's one of those things where you have to really be careful with your breakfasts and your cereals because they do add up quick, but, they're great in a pinch. If you need a bunch of calories, you do need to fill, and especially a bunch of carbs. It's almost 200 carbs there. All right, so let's take a look. The pre-workout is basically the exact same thing as I've used all month. The only thing that I did different here is I did 2 scoops instead of a scoop and a half. Of course, I did my third of a cup of raisins. Post-workout, same thing. I did 2 total cups, or 2 scoops, which I usually do a scoop and a half, but I did the same dried wasabi peas and the raisins. So basically, I built these. I made them as simple as possible. I went with what I know because today is just a weird day, and I'm just trying to kind of make it work. So I didn't want to get fancy, didn't want to get creative. I just want to put it in so that I know what I'm doing. Now let's talk about the snacks here. This is all I've got left, and all I've got is some flavored Greek yogurt, just one of those little cups that you can get from the store. And then I've got 2 of the vegan buffalo chicken patties to round it out. So, here's what's interesting is no breakfast. I'm not eating till 12, but it turns out not to be really that big of a deal, as much as I thought it was going to be. I built this, the lunches, the dinner, the snacks, nothing's out of control here. There's nothing that's too big for me to sort of tackle. And so in the end, even though some of these days start sort of chaotic and they don't go as planned, I'm still planning. And that's kind of the goal for me, is that even when things don't go the way that I want, that I'm still in control, I'm still in charge, and I don't have to let the day push me around and dictate what I'm going to do. I still have say in how the day goes. And this is a good example. It turns out I could have very easily just said, well, screw it. Today is too difficult. I can't do it. I woke up late. I got a late start. I didn't eat till noon. I could go with all that stuff. But in the end, turns out once you actually sit back for a second and think about it, the day's going to be okay. And it's going to be not too much different like other days. So that's how I built today's. Let me know if you got any questions. This will help you build yours. If you're having struggles building yours, it's not too hard once you actually start doing it. The app that I use, of course, is called My Macros Plus. Top right corner, you can see it right there. That's all I've got for you today. We'll see you all tomorrow.